All right. So, well, I actually yesterday was in Ferguson, Missouri, and in the greater St. Louis area with UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley doing a shoot for FS1. They actually wanted Ken Flo. I guess you were a little too expensive, so they went with a tertiary option. But, I mean, it was a really eye-opening experience for me, and I feel like a lot of guys on this roster are sort of perpetually misunderstood. And I think Woodley is chief among them. And to see where he's come from and to go to his childhood home in Ferguson, Missouri, that somehow slept upwards of 20 people at any given time, 13 kids combined in a blended family that included some adopted kids, some blood kids, different gangs represented under the same roof. And Tyron's mother, Deborah, was with us for the entire day pretty much, and we went and picked her up in East St. Louis and went to Tyron's high school. And so you're going to see it all on FS1. We're excited to present it to you. And I will just share one thing with you, and I hope I'm not stepping on Fox's toes here when I share this with you, but probably the most emotional part of the day for Tyron's mom. They were evicted from his childhood home when Tyron was a sophomore in high school, I think. And so his mom moved to South St. Louis away, and Tyron moved essentially across the street to live with a best friend type. And, Tyron had to walk by his house, the house that he had evicted, boarded up or what have you, on his way to school. And he shared with his mother yesterday that he used to break into the house and take a cold shower, and here he is, about to turn 35 years old and telling his mom, who had a hard time rehashing a lot of this stuff, that he used to break into the house they were evicted from and take a cold shower. And, it just broke her up. I mean, I think in some respects it was therapeutic to see where they were and where they are now. But I think in more ways it was hard to go back there. But I just think he's a stand-up guy and a guy who's a little bit misunderstood by the fan base. And hopefully this, cracks that lens open a little bit. So
couldn't agree more, man. Tyron Woodley, one of the nicest dudes and one of the most down-to-earth guys I've worked with. A real gentleman. And, it's great that you guys are doing this because this is a story that needs to be told. I mean, here we are. Tyron Woodley is the champion of the world at 170 pounds, and we still don't know a lot about him, and he is misunderstood. These are the stories that need to be told. I'm glad you were there to help tell it, man, and I can't wait to see it.
All right, a couple other headlines I want to get to here, and then we'll get to Daniel Cormier. So Michael Bisping, George St. Pierre. Obviously, there was a press conference announcing the fight. We just don't have a date or a fight card. So I think Bisping's getting a little bit impatient. Maybe it's posturing a little bit, but he's gone verbal and gone public and said that George St. Pierre needs to sign on the dotted line or Yoel Romero is going to get the title shot that he has rightfully earned. Now, Yoel's not buying it, Kenny. And even if this is just Bisping, creating headlines a little bit, maybe trying to push up the calendar a month or so, I do like the fact that he's trying to move this thing along. Depending, even if his intention isn't necessarily to have Romero cut in line. I mean, they're going to make the George fight. They announced the fight. I like that Bisping is going public here and trying to at least get the dialogue going to eventually get George to sign and commit to a date.
Yeah, I had heard that there was a possibility that the fight was not going to happen in July, that may happen a little bit later. That was the rumor flying around. And I know Michael Bisping wants to get right to work. He had just had knee surgery. He's ready to go. And I think he's trying to put a little bit of pressure on George St. Pierre to say, hey, Lan, let's commit to a date. You wanted to fight me. Let's do this. I'm ready. Let's go.
Speaking of fights, so 2 straight weeks without a UFC show. And I think for those of us as part of this traveling circus, it's a welcome breather. But as a UFC fan, which I consider myself to be first and foremost, I don't much care for a Saturday night without UFC fights, never mind 2 in a row. We're so spoiled getting 41 or 42 a year. But what I believe UFC 210 coming up in 10 or 11 days here, Daniel Cormier defending his light heavyweight title in a rematch with Anthony Rumble Johnson. DC going to join us today, hopefully. I think this is the biggest main event we've had in 2016. We've talked about, or 2017, I should say. We've talked about this first quarter being a little bit lean due to a lot of different extenuating circumstances. But you look at the main events thus far in 2017, get your fucking years right. Yair Rodriguez, BJ Penn, Valentina Shevchenko, Juliana Pena, Dennis Bermudez, Korean Zombie, Holly Holm, Jermaine Durandamy, Tyron Woodley, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, 2, big fight there, obviously. Vitor Belfort, Calvin Gastelum, Jimmy Manuwa, Corey Anderson. This Rumble Cormier rematch, not only is it going to be the biggest pay-per-view of the year to date on paper, this is the biggest fight of the year, I think, for us so far.
I agree, man. And it's unfortunate that at 205 pounds, we had a lot of hiccups between John Jones and Daniel Cormier kind of getting injured. And, it's unfortunate because that weight class has been, one of the more popular weight classes in the UFC for a very long time. And it's great to have a title fight back at 205 pounds here at UFC 210. I can't wait for it. Obviously, I just got done working with Daniel up in NorCal. He looks fantastic. And we all know how dangerous Anthony Johnson is. This is a guy who all he does is knock people out. And he does it very quickly. He's so explosive. Just when it comes to knocking people out, man, he's so gifted at it, has a tremendous amount of power and speed. And he's just getting more and more confident. And I think he'll come into this fight even more confident after having faced Daniel Cormier and coming off of some extra wins. So this is a tough fight for both of them, man.
I know in the past you've sent Daniel detailed breakdowns on opponents and maybe on himself. How did it come to pass this time around that you actually went to AKA and were sort of his eyes and ears there for a little bit?
I think we've been trying to do it for a little while now, and finally, I had a break in my schedule to be able to come up, and I think normally his other jiu-jitsu coaches that have been around haven't been so accessible for him, and DC's a guy who's always willing to learn. He's going to do whatever it takes to get the win. So we had conversed about some things that we had talked about, and I just went over there and just helped him with some positioning stuff. Just little things that I saw in the first fight that he should be aware of. We spoke about that. I got a chance to see him spar. This guy works his ass off, man. He's training every single day, 3 times a day. He's got a whole team around him that are making sure all that work is done. Everything from his heart rates are calculated to his punch counts to, every calorie is counted. A lot of counting going on around Daniel Cormier. I will say that. And, he's just that guy. He wants to make sure everything is done. He's taking Anthony Johnson very seriously, as he should. And I can't wait to see him perform.
There's no denying his hunger and motivation. We both know him well enough. You've seen him within the last week. He's a man on a mission still. And if this fight hits minute 24 of a possible 25, I can almost guarantee he's going to be the fresher fighter. So I'm excited to see what a healthy Daniel Cormier can do. And, of course, Rumble Johnson, for me, biggest power threat, biggest power puncher in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And the fact that he hasn't been belted yet, I used to say it was an eventuality, but if he doesn't get this one against Daniel Cormier, you just never know. So, obviously, he's going to be long on motivation as well. It's a massive, massive fight. Now, I know you well enough to know that you did not sleep at Daniel Cormier's house. Do I have that right?
He wouldn't let me anywhere near his house, man. Right. It was like, Florian, I like you, but I don't like you that much.
He doesn't want you there because it's like birth control, It's like, I'm good.
He's got a lot of people, I think, staying with him too. He's got his in-house chef. He's got his strength conditioning coach. Florian didn't make the cut this time. Let's just put it that way.
So did you spend the night? I mean, does he put you up at least? I mean, how does this all go down? Or are you just doing this out of the goodness of your damn heart?
He was going to put like a few floaties in the pool, and I was going to hang out in his pool and just sleep there. But he put me up in a hotel instead. He took good care of me. Rented me a car. I mean, it was great.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Kempfel, I got some Southwest miles.
Exactly.
You might be in the C group, but
Burbank, San Jose kid. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see how that all plays out. Michael Bisping, though, not waiting around, going on the offensive there with George St. Pierre. TJ, awfully quiet today, bud. Everything okay?
Yeah. It's amazing. Everything's great.
Invicta FC 22 hangover. Sorry, I love it. I sensed a little attitude in the text earlier today, but you seem to be in a pretty good place. How was Invicta FC 22?
Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I'm curious. There's things over there going on at Invicta that should be intriguing Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby, but I'm not sure if it does. So I'm sitting here going, is Tanya Evinger ready for the Ultimate Fighting Championship? I tend to think so, but we'll see if that phone rings for her.
Who is the best fighter on the Invicta roster? If you could have one roster spot that you could take an Invicta fighter, put him on the UFC roster, who gets the spot? Or is that not even fair to ask a play-by-play guy? I'm asking you, though.
I don't know. It's very difficult because I can pick I can pick one fighter from almost every weight class that I think should go. First off, they should sign everybody at 125 pounds because you need a 125-pound division. Second, we got straw weights aplenty, even though the Ultimate Fighter harvested a crop of fighters, and everyone's like, oh, Invicta's 115-pound class is garbage now. It's like, no, it repopulates like it rains in Seattle. It's crazy. Livia Souza shined. I absolutely adore her. She's the Brazilian 115-pound Conor McGregor. Yeah, I mean, Tanya Evinger, to me, I asked about this on my radio show, and I got some mixed reviews, but I think Tanya Evinger, honestly, is one of the top 10, maybe top 5 greatest bantamweights of all time, and she hasn't even fought in the UFC, so...